there are some lessons that I have learned through my formal classroom teaching that have really affected how I approach teaching my own children. And today I wanted to share with you the biggest lesson that I learned from the classroom that has translated really well into our home. If you are new here, I always love meeting people who are here for the first time, and I would love for you to introduce yourself in the comments. Let's get right to the point with this biggest lesson that I have learned as a classroom teacher. Now, there are many lessons that I learned that were very valuable to me as I was learning how to teach, about pedagogy, about student development, and about just presenting information and skills. But among those, the biggest thing that I learned was that using multiple modes of presentation for skills and information is key to actually getting students to learn. Now, there is an idea out there, it is erroneous, it's not grounded in actual research. Learning styles. The main thing that I want to tell you about this is not just that learning styles are kind of bogus, but that every student, no matter what they prefer for learning, should be given the gift of receiving information in multiple different ways. As whole beings, we should be honing our skills in every single area of receiving information, and that will help us to become really great learners. As a teacher in the classroom, this is how I learned this lesson. I was designing a unit about the book, The Boy in Pajamas. And as I was developing this unit, I was learning that if I can get all of the different learning styles into this lesson and or into this unit, then I can meet all of my learners right where they're at and get them exactly what they need so that they can learn. What I found was that I presented certain skills within my unit in multiple different ways, and others I kind of defaulted to, I'm going to do it this way visually or just with an auditory skill set. And the one skill that I consistently used all different modes of learning for was the one skill that my students went from 0% on a pre-test, which means testing them about the concept before the unit even starts, before I presented the information to them, to 98% on the post-test. And as a teacher, that is phenomenal. That was super encouraging and affirming for me that I could teach. But what it showed me most of all was not just I can teach, but this is the way I need to teach. There were other skills that I taught in that unit that did not meet with such a great success rate. Some skills stayed pretty much not the same. There was a slight increase, but they did not show such drastic advancement and development from 0% to 98%. That was huge. So that lesson that I learned with teaching those students showed me that with my own children, with myself, with other people, I actually need to not look at what they prefer, whether that's auditory, visual, or kinesthetic, or multiple different other modes of learning, but instead to present the skills and information that I want them to learn many times in multiple different settings and ways. This has affected my teaching of my own children as I'm training them in character, training them in godliness, in Bible knowledge, in scripture memorization, in history and math, and all these different subjects. As I do that with my kids, I see phenomenal growth in them. There are different stages of development that our students go through, and sometimes we can assume that very little children should just hear something or experience something or see something in a certain context. And older kids, they should probably just read about it. They'll retain that information from the textbook. And maybe we'll throw in a few activities while we're at it. But the truth is that all of us, no matter what our age, can gain from being receiving information in multiple different ways. The key things I want you to take away from this video are: one, that learning styles are not really a thing; two, that presenting information and skills in multiple different modes, multiple different ways, and multiple different settings can benefit any student. How does this translate into how I actually teach my kids? If you want to see examples, I'm going to refer you to some videos here about how I teach ancient history to my children with multiple different modes of learning. And I will see you guys in those videos. Thanks for joining me today. Ciao.